We'll start with the Folio tutorial. Let me show you what they look like. I'll open them up and you can take a look to see what pattern paper I used when I put mine together. So let me start with the one here on the left. So they do have a tie closure. There's the back. Once you untie it, this does go up. And isn't that cute, that gnome? And then this comes down, and I have a little bit of a pocket here just by using the cut-aparts. And then I stuck 2 more cut-aparts inside. Okay, so that's what that one looks like. Now when you look at the middle part, this flap has a pocket right here, and I just used craft cardstock, and then I just put a strip of the paper. This pocket, I just put an extra piece of the brown, and then that's going to open to the left. The one on the, that's my right hand side. On the left hand side, this also is a pocket, and I just matted 2 of the cut-aparts on craft paper, and then that's the color I used for the backing of that pocket. And then this one opens to the left. Okay, let's go back over here. This is 2 separate flaps. I did make little pockets out of my extra paper, so I just glued it on 3 sides, and I put some of the extra paper in like as a mat, so it will hold like 2 by 3 pictures. And then this one was a cut apart, and I just cut out the acorn. Thought that was cute. But yep, this isn't in the cutting guide. I just used scraps to make those pockets. And then they each open. Okay. This I left open underneath so I could put a picture. I had a punch that I used. This was for a 5x7 or 4x6. I can't remember actually. Matted the fall onto cardstock and cut around it. Used a sticker. I matted all the stickers on craft cardstock. Then over here, this opens, and I just put some places for little pictures. Stickers. These I did not mat on craft. So then here in the center, these little flaps are actually things, they come out, and I thought this would be a good place for journaling. And the back is plain. You could always cover those if you have extra paper. And then this is a belly band, and I cut around a cut apart to get that little gnome guy. And then there's glue down the center of this belly band so that these becomes a stop for these belly bands so they don't go all the way to the center. Okay, so then we just fold it back up. I love this paper, and then it ties closed. So that's one of them. This, be thankful, that was a 4x6 cut apart. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one, sticker rather than the cut aparts. I did mat this a couple times. The autumn days, I layered some of the stickers down here. So then this one opens. This is a sticker from the collection. Down here I did the same thing with the cut apart, and then I stuck some of the other cut aparts behind it. This time I used this as the insert for the pocket. And this one is just cardstock with some of the extra paper. Plain on the back would be good for journaling. So that's going to open up. On the left-hand side, oopsie, use the Happy Thanksgiving. I left this plain because I didn't want to cover up any of these gnomes because they're so cute. That does open. Use the fall stickers here. This is a sticker, made a place for a picture. I accidentally glued my tape, the sticker I put all the way down. I should have left it open so I could tuck a picture underneath. Gobble gobble. Over here, again, I made little pockets with the leftover paper and just glued on 3 sides, so it's whatever size you have left over. Put a sticker on some of the corresponding paper. Have a place to stick something underneath here, so that's open. Another place for a larger picture. And then I did the same thing here. The doors open, place for journaling. They come out, and I cut out this one, this gnome, for that center belly band. Let me show you the back of this one so you know what paper I used. It comes together really fast. but I wanted something kind of quick and easy for all levels, so you can make it as detailed as you want with decorating or adding extra flaps. But sometimes you're in a hurry and you don't want to have too much detail, but I think it's just perfect. And then I just used brown on the back of this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Your cutting guide has all the measurements of the cardstock. I'm using green. Let me take this off. So we'll start with the base piece. And so you're going to want to get your 5 3/4 by 7 1/4 inch piece and your 5 3/4 by 11 inch piece. And using your scoreboard, let's place the 11 inch on across the top. And we're going to make 2 score marks, one at 7 and one at 7 1/2. And the other base piece, the one that measured 5 3/4 by 7 1/4, we're going to go ahead and put the 7 1/4 inch piece across the top, and we're going to score that at 1/2 and at 1. I am going to get my corner rounder. And let's go ahead and burnish. Both of the score marks. I fold in like so. So this is going to be the part that's on the front. So this is the part that will come down. So we have this 1/2 inch to attach to the other piece. So let's go ahead and fold the score marks on this one also. You're going to be surprised at how fast this comes together. So I wanted my corners rounded, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm using a 1/2 inch corner rounder, like so. And I am going to go ahead and round this one too. Okay, let's go ahead and attach the 2 pieces together. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to place glue just on the 1/2 inch strip here. So that there's still a 1/2 inch gusset. And let's attach that to the bottom, lining up the 3 sides, left, right, and bottom. I have some excess glue coming out here. Make sure it lines up on the sides. Get rid of that extra glue that's coming out. Wow, I got a lot of extra glue coming out there. Good thing that art glitter glue dries clear. Okay. And so that's our base. Let's go ahead and insert the belly band. So the belly band measures 2 3/4 by 7 7/8. We're going to take the 7 7/8 inch side and burnish, or excuse me, score at 1/2 inch on each end. We're going to burnish those. Now when we put this on the base, we'll center it like so. Let's see, like about right there. Now you can either measure it or you can eyeball it. I'm an eyeballer when it comes to this, but we are going to put glue on the 1/2 inch pieces here and here, but we're also going to place a thin bead of glue in the center. So glue on each end. And down the center, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just as a stopper for those inserts. Like I said, I'm just going to eyeball it for the center. That looks pretty good. Burnish it down, get rid of any glue that comes out. Make sure you didn't go over any score lines here or here. So now when you put your pattern paper on, you'll just tuck it underneath a little bit underneath this belly band. You won't need a full sheet to go across. You'll just tuck some in here. And the measurements are on your cutting guide. So the inserts that will stick inside of there, those measured 4.5 by 6.5, and we're going to just fold these right in half. So I'm going to place the 4.5 in the center or across the top and score it 2 1/4. And do that on both of them. We're going to burnish those, of course, in half, making sure that it lines up good. And now you're making 2 of these for the box. There's 2 boxes that these go in. So everything gets duplicated so you can make 2 of them. Now you could corner around these 2 if you wanted to. I'm just going to go ahead and leave mine, I think, like so. So then this will tuck in here. And this one tucks in here. Now that allows a little bit of room here so you can see the pattern paper on each side, and you'll be able to see the inside belly band with that little gnome at the bottom. Okay, look at how fast we're doing this. We're just trucking. Okay, but you'll have to make 2. So let's move this off to the side and work with our left hand side. So the left hand side is, you'll need one that's 3.5 by 7 7/8. You're going to need one that is 8.5 by 6 7/8. Okay. Let's work with the 8.5 by 6 7/8. Place your 8.5 inches across the top, and we're going to make a score at 1/2 and at 1. So that means you have a 1/2 inch to glue it and a 1/2 inch gusset. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and burnish those first. So burnish both of those. So this will be attached on the side of our book like so. And this page is the one that there's, when you open it, there's another flap. So you can score it, but I don't want this to go all the way to the edge. I want it to be a little bit shorter than that. So rather than give you a measurement, I'm just going to fold this over so that it's a little bit shorter. Then it's not going to go exactly to the score. I'm leaving about a 1/8 inch gap. So it's not going exactly to the score. It's about a 1/8 inch space. And then I'm just going to burnish that down like so. Okay, so that's going to attach. It'll open, and then it will open. If you go all the way to the score, it might get caught a little bit. So let's attach that to our book. We're going to put the 1/2 inch on the edge here in between the 2 score marks, like so. A lot of it, this is the decorating with this paper is what makes it so cute. It's not the complexity of the folio, because it's pretty easy. It's very easy. All right, let's go in between the 2 score marks. Go all the way to the edge. Make sure it's lined up here with the belly band. Go ahead and open it and burnish it. So there's the left side. We are going to add a pocket on the front here. So you're going to need your piece that's 3.5 by 7 7/8. I probably should have put the pocket on before I glued it down, but it'll still be fine. And we're going to score on 3 sides. So start with the 7 7/8 at the top. Score at 1/2. Go ahead and turn it so that the 3.5 is at the top. Score at 1/2. Go ahead and rotate it one more time. Score at 1/2. Let's go ahead and cut out our corners where that square is. Cut them at an angle, like so. I am also going to taper the top here. Slight taper. Let's burnish it. All 3 sides. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this back. So we want to adhere this to the edge. So I'm going to press down so the 1/2 inch is all the way flat, so that when I put this on, I can see the edge of the paper. All right, looks good. Put glue on the 1/2 inch sides. I put the pinch in the 2 1/2 inch sides on the left and the right, then bring up the bottom. I'll line this up. Okay, so this is the gusset. That glue will dry clear. Pocket opens, opens. Okay, now it's time for the right side already. So the pieces for the right side are the 10 3/4 by 6 7/8, the 3.5 by 7 7/8, and the 4 by 3.5. So let's start with the 4 by 3.5, and we're going to put the 4 inches across the top, and we're going to go ahead and score at 1/2. Turn it once, score at 1/2. Score one, or turn it one more time, score at 1/2. So you're going to end up with the 3 by 3 pocket. Let's cut out those corners at an angle. And miter at the top slightly. Let's push that off to the side. Let's do the long pocket. That's 3.5 by 7 7/8. The long side across the top. Score at 1/2. Rotate it once. Score at 1/2. Rotate it one more time so that the long side is at the top again. Score at 1/2. Basic pocket. Let's go ahead and take out the corner squares at an angle. And slightly miter at the top. Okay, we can burnish those 2 pieces now and attach them. Where did I put the, oh, it is. So I'm burnishing the pockets now that we just scored. Let me see if I can adjust this just a hair. Nope, wrong. It's as good as it's going to get, it looks like. Okay. All right, let's do this one is going to be, remember, on top. So our pocket, the 1/2 inch is on my right hand side, and I'm going to attach the pocket on top at the bottom. So this will be the opening side on the left. Place glue on your 1/2 inch pieces. Pinch in your 2 sides, bring it down to the bottom, line it up. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to deal with the 10 3/4 by 6 7/8. Let's place the 10 3/4 inch side across the top, and we're going to score at 1/2, at 1, and then also at 6. Turn your paper so that the 6 7/8 is at the top, and we're going to score at 3.5 to the score mark that we made at the 6 inch. So just score from the 3.5 to the 6 inch. That's going to be used as a guide for our cutting. Go ahead and burnish the 3 score marks, the 1/2, the 1, and the 6. So you'll notice you have, again, a little bit of space here. That is on purpose so that you don't, when you're opening and closing them, it doesn't get in the way and start getting messed up because of it hitting up against there. So this measured 6 7/8, and we scored at 3.5. So this we're going to actually cut out on the line, but we're also going to take out a little sliver so that the doors don't bump each other when they open. So I'm just going to cut on either side slightly of the score, just slightly on either side, up to that 6 inch score mark. And you can use the trimmer if you prefer. Now I'm going to go on the other side of the score mark. And then take off that little piece. Just snip that little piece off. So you have a little bit of a space. So that's how we get the 2 doors. Okay, so it will open to the right and then open, open. So let's now put the pocket on that we just did a little bit ago. So I'm going to turn it so that the flaps are at the top. I'm going to press down so that I don't see the 1/2 inch and 1 inch that we scored. And I'm going to place my pocket, let's see, this is going to go like this. So glue on 3 sides. pinch in 2 sides first. Ooh, I got a lot of glue coming out. Burnish that down. Okay. And now let's attach it to our folio base. So I'm going to turn this sideways so it's just easier to work with. I'm going to open this one up so it's out of the way. And I'm just going to place glue on the 1/2 inch strip right here. And center it between the 2 scores and make sure it lines up with the other door. So let's see here. Oh no, I screwed up. There we go. Gotta get rid of that. I started to glue it on the gusset. That is not good. Alrighty. So there is that. Look at that. So fast. Now, you do want to attach your seam binding before you do any matting. So you have 2 colors to choose from. I did one of each color on mine. You have plenty to, you could even do double if you wanted, like to have it double strand. I'm going to make this one, no, maybe I'll make it, I think I'll just go brown. Where do I want it? Yeah, I'll go brown. Okay, so you just find your center, and then we're going to turn it upside down and place some glue down the center so it holds the seam binding. Again, you can actually measure if you want to. This will be covered with paper, so that'll keep it down also. And like so. I'm also going to place glue at the top here and down the center of the front flap, because this one we want it to tie down here. So, and then this one I'm just going to glue at the bottom, and that's it. Just on the 1/2 inch. Okay. And so now you can do your matting. And you'll make another one just like that. So fast, so fast. And then we'll tie it like so right there. Okay, so that's the basic folio. Now once you add your cardstock or your pattern paper on the front and the back, it does become a lot more sturdy. So we put that together in no time. So let me go ahead and tie this closed for right now so it's not flapping open. I'll trim my edges. I'll leave myself plenty of extra just in case. All right. There we go. All right, now it's time for the base. Oh, I forgot to put my things back in. So this is, remember, the base, and it's got 2 pockets on the back made out of lightweight chipboard. And you can see that one and that one. And then the inside, we have a banner that says thankful. This is going to be changed out. We have a better fence to use than what I have here, so that will be changed. And then I just used a punch down here that for leaves. You can choose to do that, or you can leave it plain. So now we need to make the base. So for that, you'll need lightweight chipboard and the heavyweight chipboard. And let me get those pieces ready and we'll start wrapping. The construction of the base is the thicker chipboard. You have 2 that are 6 by 8 and 1 that's 6 by 6. The paper that we're going to need for the wrapping of the base, you'll need 2 that are 8 by 10. Let me get the other ones. 1 that's 8 by 8. 1 that's 4 by 7 and 7/8. And then I did 2 construction strips, and those are 3 by 5 and 7/8. You can do 2 by 5 and 7/8 if you want to. I wanted a little bit wider. So to wrap these, I drew a picture on my chipboard. So with our paper, with the 8 inches going across the top, we're going to place our chipboard down. We are going to wrap all the sides except for one on both of the 6 by 8s. We're going to leave one side open and not wrap it into the chipboard. Okay, so you're going to want to put adhesive on the back. You can use the score tape sheets or just regular score tape or glue. It's whatever you feel the most comfortable with. And I totally forgot I was going to do that off camera. I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the back of all 3 pieces, the 2 6 by 8s and the 6 by 6. I'm going to attach my chipboard to my paper. Now, Tammy just recently in the store got acrylic strips that measure, you get 2 that measure 1 inch by 12 inch and 1 that measures 1.5 by 12 inches. So that we lay our chipboard down in the right spot. We've always used these chipboard pieces to kind of help us as a guide. She has now permanent acrylic ones that are going to be really handy. So if you haven't seen those, you might want to check them out on at the store, countrycraftcreations.com. Right now, I'm still using the cardboard or the chipboard ones, but I am getting the acrylic ones. I'm excited. They're really pretty colors. There's 2. The 1 inch ones are yellow, and then the 1.5 inch one is like an orangish color. Very pretty, and they're about 1/8 inch thick, so that helps when it comes to leaving space in between chipboard on your cover. So I'm just going to bump this up against my guide here. I kind of got off a little bit. And I am going to burnish that real well. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and place the other pieces down on the paper also. So there's one 8 by 6 or 6 by 8. Let's do the other 6 by 8. So you just put your paper down on your scoreboard, remove the backing. I'm going to go ahead and put the guides here because you want a 1 inch border. And just butt it up against there. And remove the guides. There's 2, and now let's do the 8 by 8 piece. Well, the paper's 8 by 8, the chipboard is 6 by 6. And we are going to leave 2 sides open as we cover these. I ran out of score sheets, so I'm using 1 inch score. It's so nice to have those score sheets because it's a time saver big time. So I'm going to get some more. By using the score tape though, it lays down so flat and nice and smooth. Sometimes with the glue, even though I do use glue sometimes, it's just not as smooth. It works, but All right. Put your 1-inch guides. All right, so let's go back to the 6x8 pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and fold over and burnish all 4 sides. This is the wrapping technique that Tammy came up with. It does work really well with this project because I hate construction strips. I'm still going to use a couple, but this kind of helps alleviate using too many. All right, let's take our scissors and the squares in the corner. We're just going to cut them at an angle so that you take off a small triangle on all 4 sides. Oh, all 4 corners, I should say. Oh, I forgot to change my audio to my external microphone. I bet it sounds like I'm talking in a can. Hold on, let me fix that. I might have had it set right, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the other 6x8 the same way. Bring it up and over and burnish it on all 4 sides. Last one. And just like the other, we'll cut off at an angle on that square from one corner to its opposite corner. Okay. So as a reminder, we're leaving one long side open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the top and the bottom, the short sides. So I'm going to place a piece of score tape on the edge here so it lays down flat. I'm also going to put one on one long side. Now that's also going to help you remember not to fold over one side, because you get in the habit of wrapping and you're like, oh shoot, I wasn't supposed to do that. So just by putting it on 3 sides, that'll be a visual reminder. Alright, so then using your art glitter glue, we like to put a bead of glue up against this chipboard here so that it sticks and makes a smooth finish. And I am going to put glue all on the inside here and even off to the edges here on those. Went all the way to the ends. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing. And let's, actually I need to move this over maybe a hair. Maybe. Okay, bring that up and over. And let's go ahead and burnish that real well. Get rid of some of that glue. I do like to run my bone folder along that edge. Let's do the other end. glue up against the chipboard. Put glue all the way in between the chipboard and that score tape, all the way to the edge, that little triangle at the edge. Remove your backing. Maybe. There we go. Bring it up and over. Move this out of the way. Just a little bit. Come on. And burnish that. Alright. Now I am going to miter the corner here, just slightly. And on the other side here, okay. And let's go ahead and re-burnish this just so it's going to lay nice. Glue up against the chipboard here, in between the chipboard and the score tape. So we'll have one finished edge. Bring that over. And burnish. Okay, let's go ahead and miter the other corners. I just rest my scissors up against that chipboard and slightly angle. Alright, let's do the other 6x8 piece the same way, leaving one side open. So I'm going to go ahead and put score tape on 3 sides. The 2 short and 1 long. Let's start with the short sides. Glue up against the chipboard. We're going to do it just like the other one. Glue all the way to the edge, even that triangular part. Bring it up and over. Burnish it real well. Other end, same way, short end. This usually is fine, but I just want to take a little piece off just to make sure it doesn't get in the way. All right. let's go ahead and taper both corners here. I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing of my tape right now. Glue up against the chipboard piece. Whoopsie. Then in between. So then again, one finished edge of the long edge. Go ahead and miter the corners of the other one that we left open. And now we're going to attach the two long pieces. So I'm going to put one to the outside because I don't want there to be that space. So I'm going to line it up so that one piece goes to the outside and the other piece is going to go to the inside. Okay? And we're going to want to make sure we bump it up against the chipboard as best we can. So I'm going to kind of like bend this over so I can see. And I am going to use some score tape and some glue. So I'll put score tape at the edge. And then I'm going to put some about almost to the chipboard, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a space. And then I'm going to fill in, let's see, this one's going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and put some score tape on this one too. This one, however, is going to go, the score tape will go on this side, the finished side, whereas the other piece we did on the rough side. So let me do that now. One at the end. And then one pretty close to the chipboard, but not all the way there. All right. So here we go. I'm going to turn it upside down. Let's see, how do I want to do this? What's the best way? I'm going to bring this up and over like so I can see. Okay, so this is going to end up getting glued down on the other piece, but I'm going to fold it over so I can see that I'm getting as close as possible. Lining up the top and bottom. Put glue. All right. Turn it over and burnish it real well. It's going to be pretty snug, but that's what we want. Okay, so you're going to notice it's pretty tight, but we're only going to have it folded a little bit to attach to this one, so it's okay that it's tight. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing of this piece. And this one. I'll put glue in the middle. A little bit here. And that's going to go over. if we were to do it and fold it like this, I do want some paper here so that it covers. So I am going to use, where's it at? Right here. I am going to put a piece over this. Actually, it doesn't even really need to be 4 inches across. It could be a little bit smaller, but that's, I've already done it. So I like to put score tape around the edge of this for to cover the connecting part so that it lays down flat. And I am going to put some on each side of the chipboard. And I'll put a couple strips inside, and then I'll fill it in with glue. Like so. Let's go ahead and burnish that. Get rid of my scraps here. I can't stand a mess. Okay, I'm going to take the backing off here. And on the paper. And one more. See. All right, let's fill in with glue. And we're just going to place this in the center, eyeball it so that you have the same amount of space at the top and the bottom. Burnish it, and that's going to make it even more firm, and so that when we bend it, we're going to have to train it, you know, it's going to be stiff. Kind of help it out a little bit. Ooh, that is pretty tight. Make sure I can get that at the right. Yep, it's gonna work. But it is stiff, people. It is stiff. Alright, so now we're going to wrap the 6x6, and we are going to leave 2 sides open. Okay, so let's go ahead and train the paper by folding it over. Give it a memory so it knows it needs to go up and over that chipboard. And we'll burnish it. Oops, I did this side. Which one am I missing? That one? Let's go ahead and do the corners at an angle and at that square, catty corner from one another. And let's put tape on the two sides as a visual so we remember what two sides we're doing, so we don't accidentally fold over the other two. You just have to make sure you leave two sides that are side by side open, that touch. All right, so I'm going to bring this one up and over. I'm going to move this backing just a hair, just in case. And glue up against the chipboard all the way to the end, in between the chipboard and the score tape. Remove the backing. So again, this is going to give us two finished edges so that it looks nice, and we don't have to use, I'm just going to use two construction strips. Just two. Just two. So that's good. And that's just to make sure it's secure and to kind of cover that chipboard a little bit. And let's do this side. Oh crud. Hold on. I wanted to taper this. Did I not? Oh, I want to taper this corner right here. And let's burnish the edge. Alright, so now we want to taper this piece right here, like so. And we want to burn it or taper this side here so that all three of them that are left are angled. And now we connect the two pieces. Okay, hold on. What do I want to do here? I'm gonna fix something here. I want to cut this square out. So these two finished edges, I want to cut out that corner. Rather than do it at an angle like we did the other ones, we were going to cut out the square. Like so. Finish side, open, open. Now I do want to angle that a little bit. There we go. All right, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get that piece on there. So now what we're going to do, remember this is stiff, we are going to attach we're going to bring the pieces up to the back like so, so that they have a finished bottom. Okay, on both sides we're going to wrap that extra piece to the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and put score tape on the outside edge. And I am going to put a little piece close to the chipboard, but not all the way. And it might, I think I'm going to try and do this one piece at a time. I can't remember if that's how I did it. Yeah, I'm just going to do one piece at a time. So take off the backing of one side. Come on. There we go. And I am going to fill in the empty space with glue. And I'll put some here. All right, so I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. I'm gonna lay this, gonna bend this. And bring that back piece up and over. And now I'm going to burnish it. And I didn't get mine all the way to the edge. And now we're going to bring this one up and have this one. So now I'm bringing this one up, and that's going to go on the outside. Perfect. Oh, my paper is splitting just a hair. I'll have to, I didn't leave enough space in between my chipboard. I have a little splittage. That was my own fault too. I should have left a little bit more of a space. Yeah, let me put some glue on my split here. So I had to add a little glue there because mine was split in here. Alright, so there is that. Now, if you see on the inside, I don't want any of this to show on the bottom, the chipboard. That's why I'm doing construction strips down there, and it'll make it more sturdy. So I have two pieces that are 3 by 5 7/8, and I'm going to score the 3-inch side at the top. I'm going to score that at in half. So it'll be at 1.5, both of them. And I am going to miter the corners. I'll show you here. So let's go ahead and burnish those in half. And let's angle these. So don't go all the way to the very corner. Go up just about a hair and then taper. So don't cut at the very corner, go up just a hair and taper. Okay. And we are going to place those one on each side. One here and one here. So you can just use glue. I'm just going to use, actually, I'm going to use a piece of score tape on the edges. I don't know what difference it makes, but I am. You can just use glue if you want. And I'll do it just like I did the other ones. I'll put tape by the score, but not all the way to the score. I'll fill in the empty space with glue. I'm going to kind of pinch it a little bit, stick it down in the corner as far as it will go, and then I will bring it up and down here. Also, when we put the boxes on the back, it's gonna, where mine is kind of splitting, it'll cover that because we'll have boxes there. That was my mistake. I hate it when I do that. Okay, same thing. Now we're just gonna put the other one on the other side. Now the gnomes that we're going to stand up on the inside, which are super adorable, Tammy is going to have you watch her video, and she's going to decorate them and show you how to do that. They're just so stinking cute. I have already painted mine a white color around the edges instead of leaving it the wood. So let me show you. I've already painted mine white just so you don't even have to do the front. I wanted to do the back white so it's nice and neat looking, and then we're going to decorate the elf on the front, or the gnome on the front. So cute. And then they'll stand inside this entry, or this open part. So I'm going to take the backing off, and then we'll just do the boxes on the outside, and then it's time to embellish and add your pattern paper. This will be so cute sitting out on an end table by a couch when you're bored. Just open up a folio, look at some cute pictures. Alright, so I'm going to pinch it closed a little bit. I'm going to, I hope you can see that. There's a little bit of shadow. Stick it all the way down in that crease. Lay it down. Bring it up. And then we're going to burnish it. And now you're ready for the boxes here and here. Okay. All right. Now we don't pattern this until we put the boxes on. So the pieces you need for the box, this is the lightweight chipboard, and the measurements are in the cutting guide. This is 6 inches by 3.5. These are 1 inch. 2 of them are at 3.5. 1 of them's at 6. And we are going to do the wrapping very similar to how we did the actual box. So I'm going to go ahead and put some score tape on the back of all 4 pieces, and then I'll be back to wrap it and apply it to the box. Let's go ahead and do the 2 boxes that are going to attach to the back of our little frame piece here. I've done 1. You're going to end up doing 2 of these. So the measurements are in your cutting guide. Now my piece for this one that measured 3.5 by 6, my paper is a little bit shorter because I didn't want to waste it. So instead of going 2 inches bigger on all 3 sides, or on all 4 sides, there's only going to be 3/4 of an inch on these because I didn't want to waste paper. I also have since got my acrylic spacer. I did put adhesive on the back of all the chipboard. So the first thing we're going to do is just adhere the chipboard down to the paper. So just, I'm not going to use the spacer at the top because, like I said, it's only going to be a 3/4 of an inch border instead of 1 inch like normal. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And this will be reinforced with paper, and when we attach it to the box, we'll be placing a piece of pattern paper down the inside of the box, which also helps keep it adhered to the back. So Even though it feels kind of thin at first, it'll be fine. And the folios that we made are not very heavy at all, so there's no problem there. All right, so like I said, here's a 1-inch border. I'm just going to eyeball it so that it's about equal on each side, like so. And now the rest of them, I did cut them the correct way. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at 1 inch here and 1 inch here. So these are a lot more durable than the chipboard pieces that I had. Remember, there's a 1.5 inch one also that comes with the set. You can get those at countrycraftcreations.com for those of you who are not familiar. And they're very handy. Pretty colors, easy to see. Okay, we have 2 more to do. These are the 1 inch by 3.5 inch pieces of chipboard. So this is 5.5 by 3. So our box is 1 inch deep. Okay. And let me lay down this one. One more, and this is the one that's the chipboard is 6 inches long, so the paper's 8 inches long. It's 1 inch wide, so the paper's 3 inches wide. All right, just backing off. So I did my first one off camera, which is good because I made a mistake. So hopefully I will avoid that for this one. All right, so that's that. So let's then take the base that is 3.5 by 6, this one. And let's go ahead and fold it over and burnish on all 4 sides. And on the corners, we are going to cut out squares. So take your scissors, and where the 2 lines overlap, we're going to cut straight to the chipboard and straight to the chipboard. So we take out that corner piece where they overlapped. Do that on all 4 corners. And why don't we do that to all the pieces while we're at it? So we do take care of that for all 4. Tape backings out of the way. Okay, so let's do it for this one too, the long one. You do kind of have to hold on to the chipboard a little bit more as you bend over so the chipboard doesn't bend, being as it's the lightweight. So I just kind of hold on to it as I bend. I hold it down low and bring it over. Same procedure, cut out the squares in the corner where the paper overlaps, or the lines, the scoring overlapped or intersected. Even with readers on, sometimes I have a hard time seeing this. Ugh, aging. Let's see. And we'll do it to the 2 short pieces also. Burnish it as you go. So as we make this, we may have to trim a little bit as we're putting the box together. Just kind of, we'll have to play it by ear. Now we also, when we mat the insides, it's gonna be a little bit different than what you're used to also, but it's on the inside of the box, and so you really won't see it anyway, but it might look a little bit different than what we would normally do. All right, one more here. And the last one. I also have the gnomes finished, so the gnome tutorial will be on Tammy's channel if I haven't already said that. But they are super cute. And they kind of have their own little personality depending on how you dress them. But they're easy to do and pretty quick too. So we almost have these all prepped. All right, so that is done. Let's start with our larger piece. So we're only going to wrap this top piece down, and that is going to give it a clean edge at the top. You can slightly trim miter, just so slightly, not much at all, like I'm taking hardly anything off. And because it's such thin chipboard, I'm not going to use any score tape. I'll just go ahead and use the glue. I still will put a bead up against the chipboard, and then on the green paper, making sure I get the edges. Glue feels like it's and you're going to want to burnish that down real well. And let's see, I think actually, how do I want to do this? Let's go ahead and wrap the sides too. Now last time I screwed this up, so I don't want to do it again. Yes. Yep, this is what we want to do. So I'm actually going to do it. I'm talking to myself out loud, sorry. Let me think about this for a second. Yep, okay. Let's go ahead and put the sides in too. I almost made the same mistake I did on the other one. That would not have been good. I am slightly mitering. So we are going to do the 2 sides. We'll leave this long one though open. do the other short side. So that's why it's okay. It wasn't a full 1 inch. I mean, this chipboard's thin enough that even a ½ inch would have been fine. All right, so we are going to be attaching the side pieces. So let's go ahead and wrap just the top and the bottom, and we'll slightly miter these. You could even actually trim off a little bit if they're a little bit long for you. So I'm just taking a little bit off so they're not a full 1 inch. And I'm just going to very slightly miter, just slightly. Okay, we'll glue the top and the bottom down. I keep getting glue on there. Okay. And I'm going to very slightly miter again, just light. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other short one too, the same way. So I'm just going to slightly trim a little bit off of the ends because they're pretty long for this short of a piece, and I will slightly taper or miter. So I'm resting my scissors up against the chipboard so I don't cut in a spot I'm not supposed to. Okay. So everything will have a nice clean edge because it'll be wrapped with the paper. And we will miter the wings too. Just slightly. So remember, the depth of our box is going to be 1 inch, so these wings are 1 inch. Here we go. Okay, get all these little scraps out of my way here. All right, so just like an album cover, we are going to wrap it or attach it like so. So this is the raw side. We're going to turn it both pieces upside down and we'll attach it like so. And we're going to leave this side open. So I'm going to put adhesive on one wing of each of these pages. And I will use some score tape and some glue. Do the other one at the same time here. I'm not going right up to the score. I'm leaving just a little bit of a space. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off, and I'll add a little bit of glue as where there's no adhesive. going to lay that down, and I'm going to bring this one right up against that piece. And go ahead and burnish the heck out of it here. Let's do the other side the same way. A little bit of glue. And bring it right up to that chipboard. Perfect. And let's go ahead and bring it over and burnish this side. So what's going to happen is these two pieces are actually going to be attached to the base of the frame, attaching it to the box. So we need to do the bottom, and so this is where we're going to have this piece will also be attaching to the box. And let's go ahead and slightly taper these short ends. We are not going to wrap the chipboard. These are going to actually attach to the sides. I am not going to miter these, the long sides. I'm going to leave them squared for right now. I might have to go back and trim them though. We'll just have to see. All right, so I am going to attach like so. So it's going to be like this. Okay. Now, you might want to cover this with your pattern paper right now, but don't do these three because we still have to attach these little tabs and we want to cover those. But if you want to do this bottom piece, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that there's, yep, that works. So this is, I don't have to trim this because it doesn't go over. There's a little bit of a gap. So see that? So it's fine. I'm just going to use glue and I'm going to put it on this whole piece here. Okay. And I'm going to go right to the edge like so. So now you could put on this piece now that we have this attached, and before we do the sides so that it's easier, it's laying flat, but you could also do these pieces after we attach these tabs. Okay, now we have a little bit of, we got to put glue on this one also to attach it to the bottom. Okay. So put pattern paper here, and now we're going to attach these sides, and then you can pattern the inside pieces. So I'm going to place glue on this tab. My glue's running low. So So I put glue on that tab, and it's going to go to the inside and line it up. And I'm going to get a clothespin and hold that. And now I'm going to put glue on the tab here. Bring that to the inside. And I'm going to burnish that. So again, I'm not going to use pattern paper right now, but this would be the time that you would want to, because I don't know what paper I'm using. This is the second one I'm making, so I'm going to see what other paper I have from the store that I'll do that. All right, so I'm going to get the base of my box, and we're going to be attaching it on this side. Make sure that that's dry and that you have your pieces in here. You can go back and pattern it later if you want to, but it's just easier before we attach it. All right, so now we're going to bring up the bottom and glue it to the sides, just in this little piece down here at the bottom. Again, you can use a clothespin to kind of hold it while you do the other side. Just put a little glue down there at the bottom. Make sure it's perfectly square. Give it a chance to dry. And then we'll be putting glue. You can use score tape if you want. You're going to be putting glue on these three sides that will attach to the book, or the base. So it'll be attached like so. Just want to make sure that this dries real well. Let me give it another burnish. You know what, let me use this so I can get in there. Should do the trick. All right, so when we put this on, I like to set mine up and attach it so I can make sure it goes all the way to the bottom, so I have it standing up and that everything lines up. You're going to want to make sure that you watch the sides so that they line up nice and well. Okay, yep, looks like it's going to be a good fit. All right, so let's go ahead and put our glue on. And don't be afraid to use, I use plenty on this part. You will, like I said, I'll show you in a minute, but you'll have a piece of paper that's tucked down into this box that helps keep it secure too. So there's all my glue. I'm going to stand this up. I hope you can see. You probably can't, but I want to make sure that I can look at the sides while I'm attaching it to make sure that I tuck them in so that they line up with the sides here. Like this one needs to go in. some excess glue I'll have to wipe off. Okay. So I have it lined up. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that real well. Turn on its side. Just making sure those sides lay down real well. The paper part. Bring my spatula to the inside. And if you want, you can place a clothespin here. And I don't think I can get a clothespin there. This glue will dry clear, and it will be covered anyway with pattern paper. All right, so there is the base. And then you will put your 2 folios. So what I was talking about with the paper is now you're going to put your pattern paper and slide it all the way down, so that also keeps those tabs attached to the base of our book. And then the books fit in nice and neat. Okay. And you'll just go back and put all your pattern paper on and decorate the fronts here. The measurements for the paper are on your cutting guide. And then you'll put your you'll have the gate, the fence, after you put your pattern paper on. I used the sunflowers. There's a gate that came into your kit. You'll place those on top there. Have your gnomes standing here. You'll have your banner that says thankful going across the top. Okay, so, and I do have pictures attached to the video. So I hope you enjoy this Craftology box. I think it's super cute to have out on a coffee table, especially with those gnomes on there. And again, the gnome tutorial is on Tammy Merrill's channel, Country Craft Creations YouTube channel. So, all right. Let me know if you have questions. I can't wait to see you post your final project on the Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations Facebook page. Thanks, everybody.